they get a
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
UNA students in on
No,
site. They just take their hours. It changes
Let's go ahead and get
their-
started. Brad, if you wanna go with the vehicle, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. Council, I'll be brief tonight. On the agenda, I have item C under the consent agenda. It's a resolution to approve and determine a 1981 Ford step-side truck as being surplus to city inventory and allowing for its donation to the town of Killen. The vehicle was purchased by the city back in 1982, 1983, and over the years has served as a communications vehicle, a command vehicle, and right now it's just taking up a whole lot of space. The town of Killen had reached out and can use it within their police department, and so I would ask for the council's consideration.
Is it just, sorry, Brad, is it part of just the surplus vehicle process that we employ?
Yes, ma'am, and it's actually the only piece or only vehicle within EMA's inventory that the city owned. And I'm not real sure the history of how it ended up under the city instead of under the county, but at one point it did. And it's served its life, it's done well, it's been there for the purposes that it needs. About 2 years ago, the state of Alabama had located some of their strategic reserve, and part of that is a command and control trailer that is currently housed in the EMA facility. Much newer technology and can be moved from point A to point B and used for events throughout the community, and so we'll use that instead of the truck.
Do we need to replace the vehicle?
No,
Or, okay, so it's strictly a donation, there's no replacement needed?
No, ma'am. As part of the process of offloading some of the equipment, there'll also be some resolutions before the county commission. There are 5 trailers that are currently parked behind the Coliseum. 4 of those trailers will be deemed as surplus. 1 of those trailers will be donated to the city of Florence, the Florence Fire Department. Chief Anderson would like to use that to make a command post. As you're familiar with, currently the fire department is using just a pull-behind trailer that was designed for residential use, and so they will use this trailer to replace that. So we've kind of got that little bit of swap going on. The other 3 will be donated to the Volunteer Firefighters Association. 1 will be housed in Central, 1 will be in Mid-Lauderdale, and 1 will be towards Elgin. And those will be rehab vehicles that the Volunteer Association will use. And there's also an MOU in place between the Volunteer Association and the City of Florence, so that if we have an event, for instance, at Courtview Towers, where we have a lot of firefighters that are in need of that, or we have residents that we can pull from that resource to bring them back into the community as needed. And the 5th trailer was partially outfitted before my arrival to be a command post for EMA, and we will use some leftover money that we have with COVID, not from the city, but on the county side, to finish that build out. So there will not be a need for additional vehicles within our agency.
Okay, that's exciting, that's good. Getting rid of some things and doing some good, I don't know, community growth and development.
Yes, ma'am.
Does the truck run?
Yes, sir, it does. It is fully functioning. It has 81,000 or 82,300 miles on it.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a beast.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you, Chip.
Frank.
Good afternoon, council.
Good afternoon.
I am Frank Council with the Florence Cemetery Department, and I'm here regarding a resolution to enter into a contract with Green Valley Nursery for the planting and removal of debris and such for 2,800 gray owl junipers. And that's on a hillside that we had a bunch of pine trees removed that were troublesome, and this is to prevent erosion. And to get a grasp on the spectrum, it's probably equal, I think, according to Craig, that it's around the same amount that went around the Memorial Grove side across the street. So that's what they're there for erosion, and this is kind of the second phase of the first phase, and we're gonna do the 3rd project in the spring, which will be repaving that area, and that should have it intact,
Another 100 years.
at least.
Yeah, you mentioned that, Frank, the last time we had some trees come down, so I'm glad that this is the next phase of it. I do want to make sure that we're all in tune with the math, so I just did it. That's about $31.50 per juniper.
Correct.
Okay.
And if you go buy them retail, I think they're about that, so.
They're a little bit more.
Are they? Okay.
I've priced them for other personal
Well,
reasons.
I
but-
bid this out to 4 separate places, and this was the best bid from a reputable source that came in, and,
A local one in there.
yeah, that's right. So, I mean, I
Love
feel
the word
comfortable
bid.
with it if you all do. Huh?
I love that word bid.
There you go, that's right. Well, it's fair, when you do that, so. So any questions?
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you.
Melissa.
Hi, Melissa Bailey, Planning Director. I have one item, it's on the consent agenda, item E. This is our annual application to ADECA for the Emergency Solutions Program. It requires a resolution of the legislative body in order for us to apply. These are programmatic funds, generally competitive. We will, receive something, but not necessarily everything that we ask for, just depending on the amount of funds that are received by the state from the feds, and then, what they retain before they issue them out to the municipalities.
What's the request amount?
400,000, we always do the max.
And do we sometimes get some of somebody else's money because they didn't do it months and months later?
Sometimes. It was a little more prevalent during COVID. We could certainly use any extra that we get, and the 400,000 doesn't touch what the needs are of the applicants. But, that's the ceiling, so.
Any other question?
Get all ours and part of theirs.
We try.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you.
Most times she does. Does a good job at it. Mary's not. Oh, that's Ben, I've been talking to him. Sorry, Ben.
So I'm Ben Crane, I'm here standing in for Mary, who's out of town, to hopefully answer any questions you have about our invoice from Bradley Arendt for the AMI meter exchange contract.
For the good of the group, I will say that this was discussed at a utility committee meeting of which Councilman Edwards is the chair. So it was discussed thoroughly about what the price was, and I don't have those notes, I'm sorry he's not here, but it did go through committee. I did want to make sure that everybody knew that.
It was, everybody voted for it, so it wasn't unanimous.
Okay.
Oh, that's right, you weren't there, Ben. It was Mary and Ally, yeah. Thank you.
Any questions?
Thank you, Ben.
Okay.
David?
Good afternoon, David Coon, Solid Waste Street and Recycling. I have 3 things on the agenda today. First one is a contract with Keaton Electric Company to put in GFI receptacles at the harbor for a demonstration project on sea bins. This is litter removing devices that we got free from the Keep the Tennessee River Beautiful grant. That one's $800. The second one is the contract with LaBelle and Associates. We still have at the landfill have an underground storage tank, and this is to get them to oversee the program. We do have 2 certified operators. Rules have changed, and a lot of reporting has to be done. They're overseeing the program to make sure we stay in compliance and do everything. They also schedule the major tests that have to be done. We're a very small fish with 1 tank. When these testing companies want to go to Walmart that may have 500 tanks across the state, hard to get them to come to see us. So LaBella will help us with that and give them about a $2,000 a year contract. Any questions on those 2 things?
I do want you to tell us a little bit more about the sea bins. I think that's really exciting and something that we can all be very proud of.
Yeah, this is something that Keep the Tennessee River Beautiful came up with. They float, they remove surface litter, and they got like a mesh basket in them. So a Coke bottle floats by, gets sucked in there, and then the marina guy's gonna go through and empty these things for us.
Daily?
Depends on how often, it's needed, but, and this will be a summertime project, because when the leaves fall and all that, it'll fill them up pretty quick. But It's as much of a demonstration project as it is make you aware of litter and don't throw your stuff in the harbor and so forth. More so than it's gonna change water quality for the better. You know what I'm saying? It's every little bit helps, but, you know, we're not changing a whole lot here. It looks good and it's a demonstration project.
You had mentioned this to me previously, and we talked a little bit about it, and I asked if it was possible if it would grow it. So, you know, is this a trial run?
It is.
And then what makes it a success to you if it is?
If he's managing it and pulling a lot of litter out and it's working well, all factors that we have to evaluate, then maybe we could put some more in different places, but we're gonna kind of wait and see and judge it by that.
Maybe give it, 6 months, a year? What are you
Through the
thinking?
summer.
Through the summer? Okay.
Yeah.
And then you might be looking at other areas like Cypress Creek or things like that?
Yes, we'll study them. I don't know yet. You know, we're gonna have to see how these work and, you know, we hope they're not getting fish and stuff in there. I don't know. It's a trial and error kind of evaluation program to see. All right, one other item for me, I have a change order on the wellness clinic, which is at College Street. So when my roofer, I'm on the benefits committee, so I'm here. The roofer inspected the site and found that the skylights were bad. 2 of them were really bad shape, and so he recommended that we replace all 4 of them with new and improved skylights. Also looked at maybe closing that up and putting, you know, but the inside of the building is cut out and sheetrocked to let the light in, so it'd be pretty expensive to fix the inside and the outside. So if we can just get new improved skylights in there, I think that change order is $3,612. Any questions on that?
Total, 3,600?
Yeah, for 4 skylights installed while they do the new roof.
Okay, so that's labor equipment and it's added to the invoice we
Add to
already
the
have.
invoice, right.
I hear a motion that we pay for.
Yeah, motion.
Second.
Motion by Jim, second by Mr. Griffin, all in favor of the motion.
David, you moved on too quick for me.
Sorry.
We were talking about the harbor. No, it's fine. I was a little slow probably. Off the subject there a little bit, and this may not have anything to do with you, but I got a call just yesterday, and I was gonna get with you because I didn't really know who. The gentleman wanted to know if we had any plans in the future to do any restriping of the parking areas down there where the boats are parked and that type of thing. He said, getting to where you couldn't really see where to go. You know.
We could certainly do that. That's a park and rec call.
Okay, well, I was wondering about that.
I'll get with Bill and
Yeah.
see if we can't get that lined up. You know, park and rec guys are really good stripers themselves because they do the fields.
Yeah.
So we ought to be able to pull that off.
Okay.
I agree.
All right, I was gonna talk to you about it, but I was afraid you'd about to leave before I could talk to you, so.
Thank you, Jimmy, that did it.
Anything else for me?
Yeah.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
Fine.
Hello, everyone. I have 2 items for Florence Arts and Museums today. The first one, approved payment of an invoice for emergency installation of a condensing unit at the Rosenbaum House. We had a malfunction on one of the units, and we went ahead and had it repaired, and that's what this resolution, letter I, is for.
Any questions?
Any damage in the process of that?
No, we wanted to do it quickly so that it wouldn't make the other units work harder, and we figured we'd do that sooner rather than later. Okay, the next one, this is repairs for a porch. This is a small screened-in area at the back of the KD Art Center. This is to replace some rotted wood, some broken screens, some floorboards, and some concrete steps. This is something that we've looked at that from budgeted funds that it would really we really need to get this work done.
It's been a need for a long time.
Grounds are looking good at Folks Town
Yeah, thank you.
and the building too, so.
Thank you.
Any other? Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Cheryl?
Good afternoon, Cheryl Jones, Animal Services Director. I have 3 items on the consent agenda. Item K is to approve repairs to complete ice and refrigeration for one of the washing machines in the main laundry room. Any questions? Item L is one of the invoices for CNH Cooling to repair the small boxes that are in the ceilings in the front half of the building that weren't working. That invoice will require your approval.
Wait, I'm sorry, that says emergency repairs, so
Yes.
has that been fixed
Yes.
already? Okay.
Yes, yes.
And, have we finally gotten away from that other company?
Yes,
And CNH is now our designated go-to for this?
yes,
And did they bid to become this?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys voted on their
No,
maintenance.
just making
Yeah.
sure, I knew we voted on it, but
Yes.
it was the competitive bid, I wanted to double
Yes.
check.
Yes, yeah. And then the second invoice was also an emergency repair. The condenser fan motors in number 1 and number 3 in R2 unit 1, which is one of the rooftop units, wasn't working. And so they were able to come out and fix that. So the staff finally enjoys air conditioning again in the front half of the building. The animals stayed cool.
No question. Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you.
Let's see. Yeah. Ted, you wanna? Sure. Jump up and get started.
I'll go.
Q.
Good afternoon, Tad Cole, City of Florence Gas and Water. I have 5 items on the consent agenda, and I think I've got them all in order. It's either feast or famine with me. I have none or a lot, so. Item Q is, if I've got them in the correct order, is an estimate of $32,629.50 from JBOC Energy Solutions. This is for the installation of some communication equipment at our natural gas gauge stations. This is to be paid from budget 369 transmission plant, RTU startup.
What do you mean communication equipment?
It's like our SCADA equipment that allows us to communicate, keep a check on it remotely, I guess is a good way of putting it.
And so do we have it in place already, or would this be all new equipment?
This is upgrading, yes ma'am. We have some in place, but this would be an upgrade. Any more questions regarding that one? Item R is a contract with Magnolia River Services Incorporated. This is a client order in the amount of $51,250. This is, and there's also an annual software subscription for $11,940. This is to be paid from budget expense account 391.10, but this will also be split with water. I did not include that in the memo, and that's my fault, but this will also be split with water. The $51,250 is the initial cost and setup, and then of course, it will be $11,940 annually after that. And this is to implement our new GIS software system that will allow us to better meet our compliance issues that we're having with gas.
You know what I'm gonna say, aren't you?
Sure.
It's gotta go, please, let's go through committee with these things.
Yes.
Please. Thank you, that's really important.
Okay.
And it didn't, so.
I thought that.
Well, we did
We
the,
talked about this one?
not specifically this one, it wasn't the last council meeting, it was council meeting prior to that. We approved the, what was it called? I've got it in my package here. We approved the go-ahead to I'm trying to think of the term. So that's the reason that I went ahead and proceeded with the contract, is that I had approval from the previous council meeting through a resolution to go on with, to proceed and get a quote, service agreement. I'm flipping pages.
Gotcha, yeah, I
So-
remember that.
So we did have the service agreement in place, so I just assumed it was okay for me to.
No, yeah, but let's just,
Sure.
that way we can ask other questions and have a different sort of conversation about it.
Not a problem.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
Thanks, Tad.
Any more questions on that one? Item S is a quote for $101,994 from Marico. This is for the removal of the hazardous waste at our gate stations throughout the natural gas distribution system to be paid from account 36900. If you will remember, some time back, we approved a $5,000 contract for them to go into and investigate exactly what needed to be removed. And this is the result of that $5,000 investigation. We have $101,994 of removal. And to my understanding, once this is complete, this should resolve our issues for years and years to come.
Had this never been done before?
I think it has been done, but it's been a considerable amount of time since it's been done. Usually these type of things, to my understanding, it's usually a 20 to 25 year period before they have to be.
That's what I was going for, like,
Again.
we're talking decades.
Yes,
So,
yes, considerable amount of time.
When I read the word hazardous waste,
Mhm.
it's not something that's new. It's over a 25-year period.
Yes, it's things that we just accumulated over a period of time. A lot of it has to do with our odorization, where we put the odorization into the natural gas. There's some chemicals and different things that are associated with that will have to be removed and disposed of.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
That just jumped out at me when I read it last week.
It's kind of, it is considered hazardous waste, but it's not like radioactive, I guess you could say, if that makes sense. It is considered a hazardous waste. It is a hazmat.
and this company will take it and take it away and they
Dispose of
will
it completely.
dispose of it on their own.
Yes.
I'm not saying that. I'm just
I'm
saying
not exactly sure of the location.
they will manage that, not only
Yes.
the removal, but the disposal.
Yes,
Okay.
That's where our garbage goes.
yes, and this will remedy the problem for years to come. Any more questions with that? All right, the next item is our annual MWPP report, Municipal Water Pollution Prevention Report. This report is just basically a summary of how our systems performed over the last year for the calendar year 2023. This report is due May 31st, 2024, which is the end of the month. I did not include it in the memo, but there are 783 possible points. The lower you score, the better you are. We scored a 45. So 45 out of 783, that tells you that our systems are working really well. This covers everything from the treatment plant itself to when we have sanitary sewer overflows throughout the system. So we scored a 45 out of 783. I will need your approval on that, and then I can upload it to the ADM website and have that taken care of for the year.
Of those 45, Tab, are there anything that are gonna require action?
No, we scored in the actions as appropriate section. Of course, we want to try to eliminate as many SSOs, sanitary sewer overflows, as possible. If I'm correct in my thinking, I think we had 7 for the calendar year of 2023, which is remarkable considering the size of the system and the amount of main lines that we cover. So we actually scored really, really, really well. So I'm very, very happy to report that and want to do a little tip of the hat to all of the personnel that work for us in our department. They do a great job of maintaining that. And so very successful year as far as that goes. And I will get that, as soon as we get those signatures in place, I will get that uploaded to the ADM website and we will have that taken care of for this year.
Thank you, sir.
Any more questions on that? And then finally is the one that we did discuss with the utility committee meeting. This is the fire hydrant meter deposit and rental fee. There's a notice included. We would like to raise the rate from the current rate of $250 to $500 for the deposit. Of course, that is refundable upon the return of the meter. And then we would like to increase the fee from $25 per month to $250 per month. And that is up to 5,000 gallons. And then, of course, you will incur charges on top of that, just regular normal water charges. This does not affect, as we talked about earlier, this does not affect our normal customer base. This is for contractors only. This will also help us eliminate our unaccounted water loss because we have a lot of theft right now that is going, as you can imagine, anyone can hook up to a fire hydrant and fill up their tanks. So this is going to help deter some of that and allow us to more accurately track our unaccounted water loss.
No, I like the solution that you helped us come to that day. That, I think, it's a deterrent. That's really all we're trying to do. So
Yes.
I'm so glad you brought that to
We
our
just want to be
attention.
able to track who's using what and how much they're using, and that way we can account for that. Because, the state expects us to keep up with that. They like to see a 20% or less unaccounted water loss, and I think last month we were right at 25. So we've got a little bit of work to do, but this will help eliminate a lot of that. We may even get below the 20% just by doing this one action. And like I said, it does not affect our normal ratepayers. This is for contractors, borers, people that come in and bore the roads. It's to that. And also, as I mentioned earlier, we have 2 meters, which we've changed our policy since then. We now actually go and lock the meter on for the person, and then we remove it when they are done, and then we're able to invoice them and charge them correctly. But we have 2 meters that we cannot get returned that have been out since 2017, and the other one has been out since 2020, and the meters are about $1,500 a piece. So this will help eliminate that as well, hopefully. Any more questions about that? And I think that's all that I have. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Thank you, Dad. Yes.
Good afternoon. I just have one item on the regular agenda tonight, and it is the vacation of a street that has never been constructed in a subdivision out on Cloverdale Road, close to the entrance to Forest Hills and that other neighborhood. And that's not a very good description. Where they built the Taco Bell and where they're doing all that development, this is an old subdivision.
How do you?
Or maybe they're subdividing it, but there's a road that was platted, and now somebody is developing it, so they need the road vacated. And this was approved, of course, by the planning commission, so.
You said it was on the regular agenda, it's on the consent agenda. Does it need to be on?
It has to be. Oh, I didn't notice that. It has to be on the regular agenda.
All right, we need to move that then.
Yeah, thank you for pointing that out. I didn't know that it had been put on the consent agenda.
You.
Anytime we do a street vacation or any type of thing like that, it has to be on the
Yeah, I thought so.
regular agenda, so I appreciate you catching that, and I apologize for not catching it.
And you said regular agenda.
Yes. And it could be on general business too, but we normally put it on regular agenda. Just anything where we get a vote for
The
immediate consideration.
I know we were talking about, but I can't remember the name of that subdivision either.
Uh,
Winborn Park.
Yes,
Thank you.
Winburn Park, thank you, yes. So any other questions or comments? All right, thank y'all.
Thank you, Judy. Go ahead, Bill.
I have 3 resolutions. The first is to approve a contract with Wisener LLC situated in Gunnersville, Alabama, to provide right-of-way acquisition services, including assistance with closing documents and track revisions for the Bradshaw Drive sidewalk project. And the amount is $65 per hour. And this relates, this is a project that is going to provide sidewalks and walkways, from Rickwood Road. So it's going to tie basically two projects together. So it's pretty important. But
It's been going on
long time.
a long. Leave it down. Any questions?
Okay, the second item is a resolution to approve purchasing the Bradshaw Drive property from Meta Hill Partners for the sidewalk in the amount of $21,755.
Any questions, Bill? If not, thank you, Bill.
And the last one is a resolution to approve purchasing the Bradshaw Drive property from M&H Holding, and that's the attorney complex that's at Helton and Bradshaw.
Yeah, and those are the appraised values. Yeah.
Thank you. That's it, except for the
Mr. Jordan, the mayor had one on there on the travel expenses, so I know, I don't know if you need to mention it or not, but it's on the consent agenda.
thank you.
He's not here, so.
Yeah, share with the. Oh.
Okay, Sherry Hines with the city clerk's office, and we have 2 applications for alcohol on the general business. A is an alcohol beverage application for the operation of a package store by Lions Liquor LLC, doing business as Southern Liquors 2, located at 1702 Northwood Avenue.
That's already operating as.
It's, both of these items are a change of ownership. It's nothing new. Okay, item B is alcohol beverage license application for automobile self-service station and convenient foods, retail beer off-premise only by Swami Bappa, 2024 corporation, doing business as Shan 2 Food Mart, located at 2207 Huntsville Road. And this is just a change of ownership. They decided to sell. They wanted to retire both, I think, so they decided to sell.
Okay, share.
You're welcome.
Anything else?
We gonna do these, the historical board appointments, or we gonna do those another time? I know they're,
Everybody else with you?
but,
just told me
We can
Okay.
go ahead and.
well, I had a couple, we got a couple of really good applications in. Renee Blassingame and James Knowles. James is a good one, and Renee has got a great resume.
Let's see, we put one on who we put her in.
I know Shayla Roberts,
He won't.
Shayla does not want to serve again.
We have, Shaler was an opening.
And then one other, was it Katie or
James, who wants to return?
who?
James Knowles was the other.
But he came by, he does not want to be.
Oh, he decided he does not? Okay,
So we have yours then, Jimmy.
Okay.
Blassingame.
yeah.
Yeah.
Renee
Renee, she
Blassingame.
has a good resume, I don't know her. We'll put her in,
Then we have Mr. Call for the library board. Michael Call. I believe.
yeah, we would go in and put him on my call,
Carr, thank you.
a CAR.
Mhm.
So we'll go ahead and nominate, Ms. Blassingame,
Michael Carr.
Michael Carr for, library board. Or is it, no, that's Port Authority.
Oh, no, it's,
No,
it's
it's
library for,
Library,
and then we will have another opening on the Port Authority.
right. I hear a motion for those two we have.
Yeah, motion.
I'll second that.
Motion by Ms. Oliver, second by Ms. Bishop. All in favor of the motion? We now will have a few minutes break.